אדוני מנת חלקי וחוסי, אתה תומך גורלי. אבל אם נפלו לי בנים אך נחלת שופטה עליי, אברך את אדוני אשר יצאני. אף לילות יזרוני חיליותיי, שיביתי אדוני לנגדי תמיד. כי מימיני בא למות, וצמח ליבי ויגל כבודי. הבשר ישכון לבטח, כי לא תעזוב נפשי לשאול, לא תיתן חסידך לראות שחר. לא תיתן אור החיים סוף השמחות את פניך.
We are going to begin the funeral service for Mr. Morton Kreda. If you have a cell phone, I'd ask you kindly to place it in the silent mode at this time or turn it completely off. I'd also like to welcome everyone via live stream. On behalf of the family, thank you for attending as well. Services will be conducted by Hazan Ari Chulif of Congregation B'nai Tikva in Deerfield.
Chaverim Yekarim, dear friends, we are here together today to give kavod as we honor the memory of our beloved Mort, truly a mensch, a loving man with an amazing smile, an inspiring teacher with great wisdom, who together with the greatest love of his life, his wife of 59 years, Rita, dedicated his life to the well-being of family and friends and became the inspiration and moral compass to those whom he cared for the most, his family, his friends, and his students. On behalf of the family that makes Congregation B'nai Tikva, we express our deepest condolences to Mort's love of his life, his wife Rita, to his adored children, Michael and Noreen, and Todd and Lynn, to his beloved grandchildren, Jackie and her fiancé David, Marcy, Lauren, and Allison, to his sisters and their spouses, all of blessed memory, Francis and Saul, Miriam and Julius, Ray and Seymour, Zichronim Libracha, to the rest of the family and friends. At this time, I would like to respectfully request Michael and Todd to please help your mother, Rita, and rise so I can perform the ritual of Kariyah, the tearing which represents the fact that the blessing your beloved husband, father, Mort, brought to your lives is no longer with you, yet the memories remain an everlasting blessing. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Dayan ha'emet. Praise are you, Adonai our God, who rules the universe, who is the judge of truth. Adonai Natan, v'Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. Please repeat after me. Adonai has given, and Adonai has taken. Praise be the name of Adonai. Please have a seat. The Jewish people respond to death with 3 words of blessing. As we said, the words in English mean, praised is the judge of truth. As we begin our service with the wisdom of our tradition, we are now in the happiest period of the Hebrew calendar. And as I was told yesterday when we met the Mishpacha, Frida, Michael and Todd and the rest of the family, and you mentioned how Mort's biggest characteristic was his smile. He always smiled, and how appropriate for him to say goodbye to all of you with a big smile during this happiest time, the time of Sukkot, in which we're commanded to be happy after going through the process of cleansing our souls. As we begin, let us all join together reciting Psalm 23 from the pamphlet together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, vino deshe yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yenaleni. Nafshi yeshover yancheni, v'maglei tzedek lemar shemo, gam ki elech b'geitz ha'mavet, lo yirara ki ata imadi, shiftecha umishanetecha hema yenachamuni, taroch lefanai shulchan נגד צורריי. דשנת השמן, השמן ראשי. דשנת השמן, השמן ראשי. דשנת השמן, השמן ראשי. כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. I would like to invite Jackie to share, please, your words with us.
Our grandpa, Grandpa Mort. What hat do we think he would be wearing today? If only there was one hat that reminded him of the four of us, his granddaughters. Every time we saw Grandpa for any occasion or just lunch, he was wearing one of our college logo hats. It really depended on who was going to be there, since none of us went to the same school. But when more than one of us were there, it was always the joke of, "Why are you wearing that hat and not mine?" The hats were just one example of how he was a true fan of each of us, together and individually. We've been so fortunate to have our grandpa at everything, from small moments to big milestones. He always wanted to be a part of our lives and know what was going on, even if it was physically hard for him. He would pick us up from daycare, driving what I thought was really fast at the time, that I would call him a hot rod. He would come to our ballet recitals, which later we found out he would sit in the audience laughing hysterically with our aunt, but at least we looked cute trying. As babies, he would always want to hold and play with us, and while he never had a dog, he always enjoyed petting and playing with Ruby and Piper. He would always ask us about our school and jobs, and enjoyed listening to our stories, which, let's be honest, Lauren's are always the most exciting. Grandpa sometimes had a hard time communicating. But the clearest thing he always asked me was, "When are you getting married?" I'd called to sing to him for his birthday, and what did he ask me? "When are you getting married?" He asked it with a smile, knowing exactly what he was doing. After David proposed, he was the first person I called. "Well, Grandpa, I'm getting married, and I'm so sad that you will not physically be there to see. Our grandparents were true role models of what love is. A moment that I will cherish forever happened Tuesday night while Grandpa was in the hospital. It was a long day, and my mommy decided to go home and get some rest. She knew it was towards the end, and she went over to Grandpa, and she said she was going to leave to get rest, and that she loved him. And the second clearest thing I've heard him say in a while, despite all of the morphine and tubes, was said at that moment, "I love you too." To our Grandpa Mort, we love you so much. Your smile was contagious, and your strength and resilience lives in the four of us.
I would like to invite Noreen to please share your words with us.
Years ago, I met Mr. Kreda. It was towards the end of my senior year in high school, and I thought I knew everything, but yet I also knew I was very young and had a lot to learn. At first, he didn't really much take me very seriously. I was going off to the University of Illinois. Michael was going off to the University of Iowa, but he was still very nice to me and smiling and very welcoming. And as time went on, and he realized that I wasn't going anywhere, he sort of eased in, and we built a relationship together. One of my first memories was when we went out. I was invited to go out to dinner with the family. I actually put on a dress, and for those of you who know me, I didn't really wear dresses in high school. And I was told that Dad was driving, or Mr. Kreda was driving, and that I was to sit in the front seat in the center, in between Mr. Kreda and Michael. This was before seatbelts. And it would be fine, except for something, I don't know if it's a Kreda thing, but you don't drive with air conditioning, like you just keep all the windows open. And it was hot because it was summer, and because, I wasn't at school, I was home. And, after lots of swearing at the traffic with more, Mr. Kreda's driving, and lots of sweating, we eventually arrived at the restaurant, and I did look a bit disheveled, even though I was trying so hard to put on a very good impression for this family that was so gracious to invite me to their family dinner. Another memory I have would be the countless times that Michael and I would be out, and we would be at a restaurant or a party or in a gathering, and he would say his last name. He would say, "I'm Michael Kreda." And somebody would stop us, and I've been told this happens to Todd quite a bit. Someone would stop us and said, "Are you related to Morton Kreda, the 6th grade science teacher? And from Chicago Public Schools?" And Michael would say yes. And we would then listen to story after story about how this man had touched so many students' lives. And I learned that he was one of the very few male teachers at the Chicago Public Schools in that age group at that time. So he was a huge role model. And actually, just the other day, Michael and I got a phone call at home from a student that read the obituary and wanted to make sure, that he got the name right, and wanted to pass along his respects. I learned that he was a twin, a fraternal twin, one of 2 sets of fraternal twins. I also have twins in my family, and I thought, well, if I marry this guy, I have a really good chance of having twins, of having fraternal twins. And I actually wanted fraternal twins, but my 2 sisters each got fraternal twins, which is a story for a whole other day. But I did get to meet his twin, Ray, only once, because unfortunately she passed at a very young age. And also very soon after I actually came along. But Michael and I did go on to name each of our girls after his other twin sisters, who I did get to know very well and who did become aunts to me. That would be Frances and Miriam. The close bond that Mort had to his sisters was very obvious and very strong. After Michael graduated college, Michael moved home. And I thought it was to save money, but his parents actually charged him rent. I was mortified. How could a parent charge a child rent to live at home? I remember coming home that night crying to my mother. And I said, how could this be? How could this family charge their son to come back home and live with them? And my mother said to me at the time, well, maybe it was to teach Michael a sense of responsibility. Maybe it was a way to have him contribute to the family. You know, you don't know what their financial state is. You just don't know. And I never said anything about that. And when we got married, Rita and Mort gave us a gift, which was a bank book showing every penny and every dollar that Michael had given them for rent over the year and saved it for us as a wedding gift. Rita said it was their way of ensuring that Michael actually saved some money. Mort said in his voice, which I'm sure you could imagine, what'd you think? I was going to get rich off that money? I knew right away the values and principles that I was marrying into. Around that time, Rita and Mort had retired, and they would go on all these extravagant trips. They would go on cruises. They would take flights to faraway places. They would go on road trips for months on end, and many trips in the same year. And I, again, said to Michael, how could this be? How could two Chicago public school teachers afford, at such a young age, to retire and get to travel like this? And I kept saying to Michael, are they going to be okay? Are they going to be all right? Will they run out? And Michael said, nope, they will be just fine. They have a plan. They will be just fine. Well, they were never just fine. They wanted for nothing. They are role models. They are my role models for what love, marriage, partnership, and planning is all about. When we married, Rita and Mort asked me what I wanted to call them. And I chose Mom and Dad. Not to replace my parents, but to gain. To gain by saying, I want in. I want to be as closest to these people as I can, so I can learn as much as I can from them. And as a young girl standing here to you today, I have learned so much from you, Dad. I learned from you the impact that one person, in your case, a middle school science teacher, can have on so many lives. I learned from you how to live life to the fullest in that moment while planning and saving for the future, and that you can have it all. So, Dad, I say to you, I will miss you. I will miss you teasing me about how I don't cook. I will miss you teasing me about my lack of taste in paint colors and carpet. I will miss you looking me up and down to assess the jewelry that I'm wearing, or that I chose to wear that day, or the outfit I chose to wear that day, then asking me where did I get that outfit that I chose to wear that day, and sometimes even asking me how much did I pay for the outfit that I chose to wear that day. But most of all, I will miss you at the head of the table. I will miss you as the head of our family. But as Jackie said, don't worry, your values and principles will live on in us and are being passed down. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your beautiful words. My words will be a little more historical, as we got together yesterday and you shared so many beautiful elements that made your family life what it is today. So wonderful and so rich with tradition and with memorable times. Morton Kreda was born in Chicago on April 4th, 1929. He was the son of Hyman and Rose Kreda. Hyman and Rose were born in Poland and arrived in the United States in the early 1920s. Hyman was a tailor and Rose was a wig maker, mainly for Orthodox married women. Hyman and Rose were Orthodox Jews. However, Hyman's job as a tailor required him to work on Shabbat instead of going to shul. On April 2nd, 1923, Francis and Miriam were born. On April 4th, 1929, Morton and Ray were born, and now the Kreda household was complete. Memories from the years growing up attest to the fact that Mort was spoiled by his family because of being the only boy. Despite the fact he was pampered, he would help his mom wash the floors before Shabbat. Mort would also help his father at the tailor shop on Saturdays. There, they would listen to opera. I loved to listen to opera on the radio. Mort's inherited love for opera made him an extra at the opera house later in his life. Mort attended Lawson Elementary, then Marshall High School, and graduated in 1946. Mort then studied at Roosevelt University and became a teacher, graduated in 1950. He taught 6th and 7th grade science for 32 years. Mort loved to travel, as we heard. He and his friends, Norman, George, and Jerry, went to Europe together and traveled together many other times. Jerry and his wife Donna were at a wedding in May of 1962, and there they met Rita Friedman. They saw Rita, so beautiful. They thought Rita and Mort would be an excellent match, despite the slight age difference of just a decade. And so, Mort and Rita went out for ice cream on Memorial Day. They went out 5 times, and then Mort traveled to Israel for 8 weeks. Upon his return from the Holy Land, Rita and Mort were engaged. Mort and Rita were married on December 16th, 1962. Things had happened so quickly, Rita would tease Mort saying, "I married a stranger." And through the years, Rita would tease him further saying, "And he's still a stranger," referring to Mort's spontaneous spirit. Mort always looked at Rita and said, "Such a beautiful bride." Mort and Rita went on their honeymoon to Mexico City and Acapulco, where Mort had relatives. And upon their return, Rita moved in with Mort. They were living in an apartment in Budlong Woods at Lincoln, Foster, and Bryn Mawr. In August of 1964, Michael was born. In January of 1966, Todd was born. Now the Kreda household was complete. The family moved to a house in Wilmette in 1966. Rita was also a teacher. She had taught first grade for about 4 years, and then she stopped to be a stay-home mom when Michael was born. Rita went back to school and received a master's degree in special education. She worked with kids with learning issues and found her teaching job very rewarding. Mort was an outstanding science teacher, as we just heard. No. He was very well known to all. So many students would speak about Mort with much respect and appreciation. Mort made a great impact in his students. Mort taught at Clinton Elementary most of his years working. He led the social gathering in honor of the 100th year anniversary. One day, a student in Mort's class endured an epileptic seizure. Mort handled it so well, he further gained the respect and appreciation of faculty and students. And the name Kreda became a synonym of excellence. The family went on memorable trips, like the car trip to California and many others. Rita, Michael, and Todd recall how Mort loved to shop and would spend hours looking, always trying to find the best possible available deal. Mort took pride in finding the best deals on everything, even if it meant to drive to the other side of town to find it. Mort loved to cook. He was always the one in charge of grilling. He very much appreciated the finer things, but was frugal. Mort would put a price to the items he wanted and would wait until the price would be as low as he wanted it to be. Then he would buy it. In 1972, Mort was at the doctor for a regular checkup. The doctor determined Mort could have a heart attack any minute and sent him to the hospital right away. Mort and Rita went to the Michael Reese Hospital, and as they entered the ER, Mort had a heart attack. But thanks to being at the hospital, his life was spared. Mort and Rita felt from that day on, Mort's life was a miracle. If Mort had had the heart attack anywhere other than the hospital, he would have most likely perished. Both Mort's parents, Hyman and Rose, had passed away at age 59. Hyman of a blood clot and Rose of a heart condition. With that family history, and now with his heart condition, Mort began to go on walks every day. He would walk 4 miles in 45 minutes. Mort loved life and was so thankful he did not pass away in 1972. Every day of his life was a true gift. His spirit was always positive, and his cup was always pretty full. Mort very much enjoyed playing bridge. He would play once a week on Wednesdays with the guys, and they would take turns offering their homes. When they played at the Kredas, the boys, Michael and Todd recalled how much casual cursing they would hear in the conversation between the players. And when I asked, Rita said Mort would have played bridge every night if the guys would have had the quorum. He loved playing cards with the guys. While in the hospital for 8 weeks, Mort learned how to quilt, do needlework, and later also needlepoint. He loved going to flea markets and look for old jewelry. Mort and Rita would go see the school plays when Michael was in theater, and would go to the band concerts when Todd played the clarinet, unless of course it was Wednesday. Even though Mort was not an Orthodox Jew, he had plenty of tradition instilled in him by his parents. Mort was always the one to lead Kiddush on Friday night. As Michael and Todd recalled, Friday night was always dinner with the family, wearing shoes. Mort made them wear shoes because if no shoes were worn, it was a house of mourning. Put your shoes on for Shabbat, he would say. From 1972 on, and despite Mort's efforts to prevent further issues with his heart, with all the walking and exercise, Mort had to have heart surgery, a double bypass in 1982. Then Mort endured 3 strokes, one in 1999, one in 2006, and one in 2013. He also endured 2 bowel obstructions. Despite all this, Mort kept going on his regular daily walks. Everyone clearly remembers Mort with his fleece vest on, headphones on, animated and sweaty as he returned from his walks. Mort became known as the Energizer Bunny among family and friends. The past 6 years were harder for Mort, and he needed to have the help of a caregiver. Mort's family has been very fortunate to have Ryan caring for Mort all these years after having cared for Lenny and other members of the family. Ryan made sure Mort was always perfectly well and able to enjoy Rita's company as well as the rest of the family. We would like to recite a paragraph of appreciation to Ryan's loving care. The sweeping wind has blown its last. The tempest is no more. Now is the time for refuge and solace, for lodging in the wilderness. For those of you blessed with having witnessed the care that one human being can show another, we know that wilderness does not last forever. Pain and sorrow may challenge our faith, but the courage to persevere in the face of adversity is a miracle. As long as there is compassion in the human heart and the will to act on a virtue, both human and divine, there is reason to believe. On behalf of Mort's family, to you, Ryan, we give all our deepest appreciation. Mort always spoke his mind. He was thankful for the extra 50 years he was kindly given by fate. That gift brightened every day of his life with Rita, as well as the lives of his family. We heard how many beautiful trips you enjoyed together. Certainly a blessing. Mort, we heard, loved to smile and to bring smiles to others. He liked a good joke. The more dirty, the better. As Mort started to slow down, he enjoyed countless hours of Law and Order and Judge Judy. He kept taking his walks, even last Sunday as he walked in the living room. Mort was taken to the hospital and peacefully passed away this Wednesday, the morning of the 22nd day of September 2021, corresponding to the 16th day of Tishrei 5782. Mort lived a complete life, exceeding by far any possible expectations. His life was a blessing to so many, and his presence will be missed by all. To Mort's family, we say the words of comfort. המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שער אבלי ציון בירושלים וכל יושבי תבל. May God comfort you together as He comforts all the mourners of Zion, Jerusalem, and the rest of the world. תהי נשמתו צרורה בצרור החיים. May Mort's life be bound to the bond of life. יהי זכרו ברוך. May his memory remain for a blessing. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. At this time, I would like to ask, respectfully request, the family to please rise. Since we are in the period of Chol HaMoed Sukkot and Tachanun is not recited, we will continue the memorial prayer. Eloha Selichot. Let's memorialize more. Eloha Selichot Chanun Verachum Erech Apayim Verav Chesed אמצא כפרת פשע והקרבת ישע ומנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמות מרדכי זוריק בן חיים ורחליה שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו אנא בעל הרחמים זכרה לו לטובה כל זכויותיו וצדקותיו בארצות החיים ופתח לו שערי צדק ואורה שערי חמלה וחנינה בסתר כנפיך אז תראו לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן. God of forgiveness, you who are gracious and compassionate, patient and abundantly kind, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Morton, Mordechai Zurich, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that you remember all the worthy and righteous deeds he performed. May our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Amen. As we will continue now with the lowering of the casket, שיר למעלות, אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ. עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ. אל יתן למוט רגלך, אל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה. יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה. Adonai shomrecha. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra. Yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzedcha uvoecha me'ata ve'ad olam. Adonai yishmor tzedcha uvoecha me'ata ve'ad olam. A song of ascent. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. Adonai will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. The guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your protection, a guardian to your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm and guard your life. Adonai guards your going and coming, now and forever. Al mekomo yavo v'shalom. May Morton go on to God in peace. At this time, I would like to invite everyone, beginning with the family, to perform a mitzvah of chesed shel emet, a mitzvah of pure loving kindness, which is to provide Mort with a proper burial. We will form 2 rows, beginning again with the family, to place 3 shovelfuls of earth. We do it 3 times to show that we have full intention to provide Mort with a proper burial. And we will be filling the whole grave with the shovels. So please rise, the family, to begin leading us. And after we fully fill the grave, we will recite Kaddish.
condolences. My condolences.
Friends and family, we are going to continue with the burial. I just wanted to announce that calls of condolences for the family will be Sunday from 1 until 5 at the Kreda residence, 1250 Rudolph Road, Unit 1L in Northbrook. Sunday from 1 until 5. You're invited to come over. You must be vaccinated and a mask is required. Thank you. And we're going to continue with the burial. Friends, we are going to end the live stream on behalf of the family. Thank you for attending. This does conclude the service.
55%.